Hello, everyone. Welcome. Now let's talk about an interesting issue. Intellectual property. Do you know what is meant by the term intellectual property or simply IP? When it comes to intellectual property, what would you think about? Patent, trademark, or copyright? How about this? Intangible assets. Intangible hands that drive business in the era of our knowledge-driven economy. Well, today I am with some of the leading actors of IP Panorama, a serial drama which has created a stir in the world even before it has been broadcast on TV. The IP Panorama series is a masterpiece, which has been produced by the cooperation of the World Intellectual Property Organization, the Korean Intellectual Property Office, and the Korean Invention Promotion Association. The three organizations have toiled together for many years to create a wonderful new type of product for learning about IP assets and their role in business success. It has a very nice and distinctive name, which is also the trademark of the product, IP Panorama. Today, I will be talking to our guests about the role of intellectual property in the business world in the context of this new serialized drama, IP Panorama. Okay, let's meet the leading actors of IP Panorama. Hello, Gibson, May.
Hello.
It is my honor to have you on this primetime show today. In creating IP Panorama, you must have been very busy, weren't you?
Whew, indeed. Lately I have been quite busy filming IP Panorama.
Both of you are actually IP lawyers in real life, is that right?
Yes, that's right. Acting is a very different experience, and it has had a huge influence on me.
I was told that the storylines used for IP Panorama are based on real IP disputes that you've been involved in.
Yes, when the writer wrote the scenarios, she referred to the cases that we were involved in. When we filmed the IP Panorama, we faced many challenges as we were not professional actors.
I was scared stiff in front of a camera. It is just amazing how I made it.
I still become nervous when I'm in front of the camera. As an IP lawyer, what do you think about IP Panorama?
When it comes to IP, most people think that it is a very specialized area of study. But if you follow the stories of IP Panorama, even without realizing it, you will learn what IP is all about and how crucial it is for the success of a business.
What makes IP Panorama most interesting and fun is that it relies on the storytelling method. That is, learning about IP through stories. At the same time, it is also great in terms of its IP content. WIPO, KIPO, and KIPA, these three organizations joined forces to make IP Panorama, so we don't have to worry about its quality.
In addition, it deals with business aspects of IP, especially from a small and medium-sized enterprise perspective, so it is very practical. There are many existing multimedia products that focus on the legal aspects of IP in terms of patent law, trademark law, design law, etc. However, IP Panorama has a business perspective, so we can learn how to use IP assets strategically in a business. So it is amazing to watch IP Panorama.
I see. Well, I do hope that more and more businesses, especially small and medium-sized enterprises around the world, find very useful information about intellectual property and its role in business through IP Panorama. Now let's have a look at the trailer of IP Panorama for a while.
Today, intellectual property is all around us. Patent, trademarks, industrial designs, trade secrets, copyrights.
IP assets are crucial for a business's success, and you need to manage IP assets to get the best out of them. How about you?
Well, intellectual property
Is it so important?
Sure. We are strategically managing IP, and it has become our business's competitive advantage.
I desire to have that too. But how?
IP education is the key. IP Panorama is the most advanced and storytelling e-learning content site on intellectual property. IP Panorama is jointly developed by World Intellectual Property Organization, Korean Intellectual Property Office, and Korea Invention Promotion Association. Educate your people with IP Panorama. Then you can make the best use of intellectual property in our knowledge-driven society. IP Panorama, the best IP e-learning partner for your business.
Wow, isn't it wonderful? The first episode of IP Panorama will be presented this weekend. Don't miss it. Well, Mr. Gibson, the term intellectual property, IP, is becoming increasingly popular. Not only SMEs, but individuals are gradually gaining interest in IP matters. How is IP relevant to our daily lives?
Well, along with human creativity and inventiveness, IP is all around us. Every product or service that we use in our daily lives is the result of a long chain of big or small innovation, such as new designs or improvements that make a product look or function better. Let's take some examples. We can easily find IP in almost every product, like a ballpoint pen or an MP3 player.
Wow, I didn't know that IP touches our daily lives in more ways than most of us are aware. Then, how about IP in business? I mean, how does IP affect a business?
Almost every SME has a trade name or trademarks and should consider protecting them. A large number would have developed creative original designs. Some may have invented or improved a product or service. Many would have produced or assisted in the publication or dissemination of a copyrighted work. Also, it will have valuable confidential business information. For example, customers' list to sales tactics. Therefore, the intellectual property system may affect a business in almost every stage of its business cycle, from product development to product design, from service delivery to marketing, and from raising financial resources to exporting or expanding business abroad through licensing or franchising. In all cases, an SME should consider how best to use the IP system for its own benefit. Regardless of what product an enterprise makes or what service it provides, it is absolutely necessary for a business to systematically identify, protect, and effectively utilize its IP in order to get the best possible commercial results from its ownership.
Ms. May, you mentioned that an SME should effectively use its IP to obtain the maximum benefit from its ownership. Then, are you saying that IP can be a kind of an asset of an enterprise?
Yes, you have pointed out a very important concept. When IP is legally protected and there is demand for the IP-protected products or services in the marketplace, IP becomes a valuable business asset. SME must first acknowledge the value of IP and begin to see it as a valuable business asset.
Ah, I see. Then, how about this? In my view, there are so many different kinds of business assets which have a huge impact on the success of a business, such as money, land, and factory. So nowadays, why is IP regarded as a more powerful business asset than the others? Why is that so?
Over the years, in an increasingly knowledge-driven society, the source of commercial power has shifted from the traditional factors of production, which are tangible, namely land, labor, and capital, to knowledge, which is intangible. By knowledge, I mean the useful output of the human mind, the intelligent.
Oh, I totally agree with that. Knowledge is power.
Yeah. Despite being an intangible thing, knowledge has great power to change a business for the better, and thus contribute to its success in terms of its profitability.
How about telling us more about intangible things?
Just imagine a traditional business in the past. At that time, it was thought that tangible assets, such as land, buildings, machinery, and money, are the real valuable assets of an enterprise. But over the years, the world has changed a lot. Now, more and more enterprises are beginning to understand that intangible things, such as new knowledge, creative expression, and technological innovation, are becoming more and more valuable business assets, while tangible assets are becoming less and less valuable for their competitiveness.
In today's fiercely competitive business environment, continuous innovation and endless creativity are becoming the key to greater competitiveness. Intangible assets are therefore taking center stage. Not only large enterprises, but also SMEs should constantly strive to make the best use of their intangible assets.
And one crucial way of doing so is by legally protecting intangible assets by acquiring and maintaining intellectual property rights. The protection and strategic utilization of IP rights can enhance the competitiveness of a business.
I did not quite understand how an intangible asset becomes an IP right. Would you please explain a bit more?
Let's see how the following categories of intangible assets may be protected by different types of IP rights. You may obtain IP rights over the following categories of intangible assets. Click each underlined item to see the details.
Welcome back. We have with us here today Mr. Gibson and Ms. May, the IP stalwarts in the sensational new serial drama IP Panorama. We shall continue our discussion with them about the key role of intellectual property assets in driving the competitiveness of a business in the knowledge era of our times. So, Gibson, May. Now, I know that an existing or a new business has to master the use of the IP system if it hopes to survive and grow in today's marketplace. I'm still wondering, what benefit does a business get by protecting its intangible assets as IP assets? Would you please clarify this further?
A crucial point about legal protection of IP is that it turns intangible assets into exclusive property rights, although for a limited period of time. Almost every country has its own set of laws on intellectual property.
Exclusive rights?
Yes, legal protection provides a business ownership rights, called IP rights, over its intangible assets. An owner of a property can decide who will benefit from the use of that property, so the owner can exclude others from the use of the property. This right to exclude is what I mean by exclusive rights. If another person or business wishes to use property that it does not own, it will have to either buy it or use it or take the prior permission of the owner of the property to use it. This is equally true for both tangible and intangible property. In short, IP protection makes intangible assets a bit more tangible by turning them into valuable exclusive assets that can often be traded in the marketplace.
Just imagine that your business has spent a lot of time and other resources to develop innovative ideas, creative designs, and powerful brands, which are not protected by IP rights. In that case, all these may be freely used by any other enterprise, including your competitors, without taking your permission. Will that not adversely affect your business? However, when they are protected by IP rights, the exclusive rights provide you with the opportunity to prevent or stop competitors from making or copying products that infringe on your rights, or permit others to use it on mutually agreed terms and conditions. Enforcing your exclusive rights when you find that your IP asset is being used by others without your permission may be crucial to maintain your competitive edge and profitability. Let's look at the value of IP assets as business assets. Click each item to see the details.
We are having a very fruitful discussion with Gibson and May, the IP stars of IP Panorama. Well, now it's time for any questions from our audience. Is there anybody who wants to ask a question? Yes.
Hello, I am very pleased to see you. Here is my question. I know IP is important and a business has to strategically use IP assets to make the best benefit from them. But how do we know our enterprise's IP assets are valuable? I mean, how can we estimate the value of IP and effectively utilize it?
Thank you for an excellent question. As I have said earlier, IP assets are the most valuable business asset in today's knowledge-driven economy. However, not all IP assets are worth protecting and commercializing. For example, an unused IP asset is no longer valuable, and it may represent a financial burden on the enterprise owning it. On the other hand, trying to decide what is valuable and what is not valuable can be a difficult task, because even out-of-date technology may still have some value in the market. One way an enterprise can know this is by performing an IP audit.
IP audit?
Yes. IP audit is a systematic review of the IP used by a business. The scope of an IP audit varies depending on the purpose of the audit. In general, an IP audit begins by identifying and making an inventory of the IP assets owned or used by an enterprise. Broadly speaking, an IP audit is done to make sure that a business is making the most out of its IP assets. For example, a business may decide to sell unused IP assets or permit others to use some or all of its IP assets on mutually agreed terms and conditions that often include the payment of a one-time fee or a recurring royalty payment.
Let's have a look at some of the important purposes for which an IP audit is done.
By conducting an IP audit, an enterprise would be able to make informed decisions about the followings. Click each item to see the details.
Thank you, Gibson. Thank you, May. We have learned a lot from you. I'm really looking forward to watching the IP Panorama show. I cannot wait any longer for the weekend.
We also look forward to watching IP Panorama serial on TV.
Just tell us a little bit about the story of the first episode.
Well, the first episode is about trademarks and industrial designs. It is based on the story of the marketing challenges faced by a company which had developed, manufactured, and launched a technologically advanced MP3 player. I am sure you'll enjoy it.
Oh, I have heard that WIPO, KIPO, and KIPA are decided to develop more episodes of IP Panorama beyond the original 10 episodes.
Yeah, they decided to continue developing new modules of IP Panorama. Also, they are jointly operating an online educational course by using IP Panorama, which they are also promoting jointly to not only the enterprise sector worldwide, but also to universities for creating courses for students of engineering, business administration, entrepreneurship, innovation, new product development, technology transfer, etc.
Oh, they are so full of enthusiasm for IP Panorama. Thank you so much for joining us today. I wish the both of you and IP Panorama all the best.
Thank you.
Don't miss the grand launch of the first episode of IP Panorama. See you next time with more exciting and thrilling news about IP Panorama. See you.
With Episode 1 in Module 2, the exciting stories of IP Panorama will come to you. See you soon.